Hey, what's going on YouTube? So a couple of days ago now, MrHartgrave released a character tier list video. I watched maybe like 10 or 15 minutes of it. Had some great ideas, and I thought it'd be fun to do kind of reaction to his video. Just my input, if I agree with his stuff, what he's saying, if I don't agree with it. Um, just to get where I'm at with everything and how I view his suggestion. So a couple things I want to make crystal clear. First, we're going to play he might sound slightly weird. We're going to play the video at 1.25 speed, just to get it's kind of a long video, and adding commentary, it's going to be long in addition to that. So trying to get through it as fast as we can, within reason. Sounded a little too weird at 1.5. But also, first things first, I don't really know MrHartgrave that well. This is not an attack on him at all. This is literally just my opinion of stuff, and whether I agree or disagree, it doesn't mean I'm right. It's just my take on things and where I'm at. I've had one interaction with MrHartgrave on Discord. I asked him a question about something, and he was super cool. So I don't know him that well, but the interaction I've had, he seems like a super great guy, and I have no ill will at all. So this is not what that is. I just want to be super crystal clear about that. It's just my reaction to it and just my thoughts on what he's suggesting, whether I agree or disagree. That's it, and I'll be totally honest with you guys. Make sure if you enjoy this video and you haven't already watched his video, I'm going to add a link to his YouTube channel and to this video down in the description below. So please make sure you go over, subscribe to him if you're not already subscribed, support him, watch his video, all that good stuff. So I would appreciate if you do that. So without further ado, we will go ahead and get started here, and I'll pause, feel any commentary I need to make, whatever. We will do that. But yeah, let's get into it. I think at the moment he's just doing a lead in about what the tier list is and what it's for. So we're about a minute into the video. We'll go ahead and get started.
And the idea behind this is I'm going to be making this tier list and then using the information to put together an infographic and then doing another, an update to my unlock guide. You've probably all seen my unlock guide. It's one of my most viewed videos on the channel. And this is going to be kind of the groundwork for that, deciding, how this infographic works, where people go on it, and just we got to do the ranking. This is the start of it. All right. So here are the tiers. At the top here, these are characters that we're going to build to tier 17. Who's going up there?
Horsemen.
Everybody all together. Horsemen. That's right. The Horsemen go up to tier 17.
So far,
That's
so
not
good.
a big surprise. Now, we have tier 16. Which characters are going to go up to tier 16? Well, these are characters that you might want to consider taking into Dark Dimension 5. There's a few people out there, maybe a few thousand people out there, who have not yet unlocked Dormammu. There might be some characters that we recommend taking up to gear tier 16 in the event that, maybe you want to grab Dormammu before you grab Apocalypse. I don't know if that makes any sense, but we'll go ahead and throw them on here if we run across them. Next up, the next tier that we have on here is level 90. Now, there are a good deal of characters that we're...
So I do want to just watch this real quick as he explains what the rankings are, because I feel like that adds some context into his suggestions. So I just want to make sure that we're kind of on the same page as him.
But then we're going to go further and take them to level 90 because they're daily use characters. A lot of characters that we use in Cosmic Crucible are going to go into this tier. Basically, the max you can build without adding any gear to that character. There's a good deal. This is one of the reasons why I've had to so over the year of me making videos, or year and a half here on YouTube, I've adjusted, my safe to build infographic, if you've noticed. We kind of based it around raids, we based it around Scourge, and now we're kind of having to, really...
All right, so we'll speed it up a little bit. But yeah, as you can see here, based on the descriptions, he has T17, Horseman, T16. You're going to need that to get into DD5, so these are DD5 viable characters. Level 90 guys, people you want strong for daily use, things like Cosmic Crucible, if you're in a war, maybe even war, all that stuff. T15, so you can bring them into DD4, and they're like at a minimum probably Scourge viability if you're even being semi-competitive about that. I'm paraphrasing what he's saying a little bit. And then T12 would be like, you can use them on a blitz team probably, right? They're not particularly important characters. So let's speed up a little bit ahead where we actually start placing the characters just for the sake of the video. And
it won't affect you at the end game. It won't matter at all. That's not a mistake whatsoever. To build your characters to tier 12 is absolutely no detriment. I got people making fun of me about Bionic Avengers. We'll get to that. We'll talk about Bionic Avengers.
Real quick, I disagree slightly. So if most of my characters are at least, I think it's like 65 tier 12, to have them for Blitz. That being said, if I was a new player myself, I don't know that I would even bother with it. It's so rare that we even get an important character in Blitz. Honestly, of course, if you're a newer account, you probably things come up in Blitz and you could use the character. Who knows? Maybe they get a rework one day. They might be semi-useful, but it's just so few and far between that we get a really impactful character in Blitz that while I have mine at tier 12, 65, and it's not that much resources to get them there, if you are strapped, personally, I would be hard-pressed to even recommend anyone spend anything on a lot of the characters in this game because they're just so bad and so not useful. And Blitz viability alone isn't, I don't know, it's not worth it. Even just the minimal amount of gold materials and gear that you have to spend on them, I would just hard-pressed to even recommend it, even though I do it myself, but I'm also, going on 1,600 days played. So I think him and I disagree a little bit on that, but I get what he's saying, and it's not a big deal, but just a thought there.
Ultron. We'll talk about Nick Fury. We're going to get into all of that and more. But we're going to start in order here, at least the order that's been given to me by the tier list gods. We're going to start off with Graviton. Okay, Graviton, I cannot see any other tier for Graviton other than tier 12. We're waiting for an AIM rework. Another
lowest possible importance. He's not important. He's just not important. Make Graviton great.
reason why tier 12 is on
He's
here
such a cool
is
character.
because it's not a bad idea to have characters at tier 12 in case a rework hits, and then you're kind of more ready for it than if you never touch that character at all. I don't know. It takes an extra couple of days or whatever to bring
That's
a character
fair.
just up to tier 12.
I get what he's saying there, but I also I don't know. I would never personally wouldn't invest in anyone to tier 12 is not a big deal, but I personally would not invest in anyone just on the possibility of a future rework. That's just me, but I do get what he's saying there.
So if you can have that work already done, I don't know if you can, depends on which part of the game you're at, how long you've been playing for. But if you can manage that, it does make you a little more nimble. Okay, we're going to have a lot of tier 12s, by the way. We're going to have a lot of tier 12s, and I'm going to throw Coulson up there.
Agreed.
I'm going to throw Star-Lord
Agreed.
up there.
Not important.
I'm just going to do some Fantastic Four up there, some
Not
Thing,
important. Totally
some
agree.
Ultimus up here.
Ultimus is terrible. Agree.
I think Symbiotes are curious. We might have to talk about Symbiotes a little bit. I think that this is safe to throw up in here, though. Power Armor is safe to throw in there. Wasp is pretty crappy. So definitely that's all tier 12. Just to move this video. So this video isn't 5 hours long, right? Looks at the watch
It's gonna
time.
be 10 hours
He's
long
watching a
with me
5 hour
pausing
long
for
video.
commentary.
Make sure you like and subscribe. All right, we're gonna get to Spider-Man. All right, so now this is our first character I think we actually get to talk about a little bit. We get to rap about Spider-Man. He's not a horseman. Like, the first question you can ask is it a horseman? Answer no. Doesn't go to tier 17. Tier 16 for Dark Dimension 5.
Not a bad choice.
I wouldn't do it. He's bio, right? And we know we're going to have a bio team up here. We know we have a bio team up here. It is like the best city team. It's going to remain the best, city team that's available. He's daily use. I think most people mid-game, end-game are going to be using him daily. So I think that he's going to be right here at level 90. So what this would be, level 90 would also imply tier 15, by the way. Tier 12, tier 15, level 90, tier 16, tier 17. So, yeah, he's daily use for raids. You're going to use Spider-Man daily for raids. You're going to use Miles daily for raids. The whole Web Warrior team is...
So, I agree what he's saying. I think Web Warriors do great in DD5. They're great options for that. Obviously, you are going to be building Gamma, so they're probably going to suck away. They're of probably more importance, and they are going to be sucking away resources from you. So this is kind of a tough call. I personally, my Spider-Man is still G15. I actually brought Spider-Punk because he was a little bit cheaper. In DD5, Spider-Punk did nothing. OG Spider-Man would have been way better. That's a regret that I have, but it is what it is. I get what he's saying here. That being said, I do Doom 3.4, and I even at times with everyone besides OG Spider-Man tier 16 on the team, I still struggle. So at my level, I kind of need them at that, but I get what he's saying, and you're going to get through, if you really are strapped for bio, you're going to get through DD5 eventually. Even if you bring in lackluster characters that, they don't do a whole lot for you, whatever, you throw in She-Hulk because she's city, whatever it is, you will ultimately get through that. It's just going to take you longer. So you want to be happy about the investment you made after the fact and look back and be like, all right, great. Like, I made really good choices. And so as much overlap as you can get with Horsemen and the Horsemen teams, you're going to be happy about. So I don't hate these guys at tier 16, but I understand what he's saying here.
His daily use name. Let's look at Storm. It would pain me to put Storm. For me, Storm is daily use because I use her in raids. and I use her in Cosmic Crucible. Now, we do have a Cosmic Crucible season coming up where hero mutants are going to be boosted like crazy. Now, I don't think we can factor that into this tier list because it's going to be like 3 to 4 months tops for that to last in game.
Unless you're an absolute kraken and just a madman, I would not make crazy investment into anyone just for a CC season. Cosmic Crucible is super important, but you got a couple of months of that, and then they're on to the next one. So unless you can keep up with that because you're paying, I would be very hesitant to do that. That being said, I would also like to see, he had to draw a line somewhere, so I get that. But I'd like to see a tier 14. We're more and more we're getting to the place where T15 is kind of more of a standard. I still find a lot of use for T14. I think with the exception of Phoenix, that actually ended up bringing to DD5 because I had a bunch of mutant gear. I actually find T14 works very well. My whole Uncanny X-Men is tier 14, if I'm not mistaken, besides Phoenix. And they still do throw on some levels onto them, and they still do a lot of work for me in against Web Warriors and War. I use them all the time. I don't use her in raids at all. I'm interested in what he's doing with that or what level of Doom 3 they're doing. But I also think they're going to be very good. I wouldn't invest in them specifically, like I was saying, for Cosmic Crucible, but I also think they are going to be excellent. That whole Uncanny team in this current season, the first season of Cosmic Crucible. So I actually wouldn't mind seeing a G14 tier here for things that fall somewhere between tier 12 and tier 15, but I understand what he's saying. And yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, for most people, Uncanny is going to be used for War and Cosmic Crucible and Blitzes, and that's it. So that's not that important.
Put Storm at tier 15, and she's really right on the line. She's really right on the line between tier 15 and level 90. Some players might want to take her up to level 90.
He values Storm more than I do.
I'm getting value out of that. But I think tier 15, on the strength
she is amazing
of
on her
using her
team.
in Scourge. And if you want to have a real quick look at this, just as a refresher, here's like kind of my ranking of teams that we've done earlier in previous videos and my rankings of game modes. I have Scourge above War, and here's at a glance just some of the traits that we'll find in the three Scourges that we've seen so far. Well, War is upcoming, but we already know what we're going to be using on that. And because of the mutant nodes, I did find Storm to be useful. I think she's a step above tier 12 at least. Like, you got to make up your own mind if you want to, tier 30.
I didn't find her useful, but that's just me. I took other options, but I get what you're saying. I don't hate her at tier 14. I don't regret my Storm being a T14 for whatever that's worth.
13, tier 14, tier 15, whatever. I think she's up there. My chat thinks that Star-Lord's higher than tier 12, but they're absolutely insane. They have no idea what they're talking about. Let's talk about Thanos. Thanos is interesting. A lot of people want to put Thanos and the whole Black Order down here in tier 12 and say that they're not useful at all, that they're entirely dead in this meta. I got to disagree. We got to put Thanos up here in tier 15. The reason for that is 1000% Scourge. Thanos is a key Scourge character when paired with Icarus. Having Icarus behind Thanos in Scourge is an OP tactic that's going to be around for quite some time. So I think having a Thanos built to tier 15 is vital for this game for mid.
I have to strongly disagree here. Thanos absolutely does have his place, and he's not wrong. You throw him next to Icarus, he can do some work for you. I think I have like a 700k, even a little bit below 700k Black Order. I'm not putting anything into them. For me, they are like a non-meta war killing team at this point. Not to say they did, if you got a big enough one, they couldn't have some place elsewhere. Personally, though, if I was taking this viewpoint from like a newer player, I would be hard pressed, honestly, to recommend anyone invest in Black Order at this point. I get what he's saying, but I don't know. I think you got a much better options with Cosmic and Scourges and everything.
Game players, end game players, maybe even for beginner players. It has a lot of utility. It holds a lot of value. Let's go on to Thor. Hero Asgardians.
I also should clarify, he was just talking about Thanos as a standalone character, and I get that, but I stand by what I said. He's referring to his passive and what his passive can do for you, not necessarily the entire Black Order, so I should just clarify that real quick. So I get what he's saying, but yeah, still kind of disagree with that.
Is a dog shit team. It has no real value in this game other than being a Node 5 team for the War Scourge. Other than that, its utility is limited to war defense. I hate war defense teams. Not a fan of that mechanic at all. A lot of people think that I just hate war. It's not really the case. I don't really hate war. I certainly hate what it's become, but I like this game. I like playing this game. I enjoy this game. War is a way to play this game. I don't like investing materials and resources into characters that I never actually get to use. And Hero Asgardians is very much that. Thor We'll throw him in the Scourge. And one thing that did help this is we know now for the War Scourge that we have Avenger nodes now in the War Scourge. So, and for the War Scourge in particular, we have, nodes 5 and nodes 10, which rely on Hero Asgardians, and they're really going to be the best team for that. So it's hard for me to say, keep Thor at tier 12. I'm building him up myself. Right now, mine is at tier 14, and I might push up to tier 15.
So I'm pretty much in total agreement with him at this. So myself personally, because I really don't spend on the game and I need to be hyper efficient with investment, I have brought all of my Hero Asgard up to 75 G14, and I am hoarding materials, right? I'm hoarding everything, training mats, gold, gear, everything, so that once we get in there and we actually get to test out the nodes and get a sense of what's going to work best, that I can make a game time decision on that to increase my score as much as I can, try to get a big Red Hawk. So I'm totally in agreement with him. Mine's all level 75 G14. I'm going to make a game time decision. War defense characters do not excite me. I do not get enough gear and training mats and everything to just go all out on these teams for war defense. So I am in total agreement with this. I would bring them up to a reasonable level, reasonable gear tier, and I would, if you can afford to do it, I would hoard and be willing to make a game time decision once the Scourge rolls around and we know what the best choice is going to be. You don't want to invest in Heimdall if it turns out you really want to drop Thor in place, or if you really want to drop Hawk or Star-Lord T'Challa or something in place of Heimdall, because Heimdall's not doing enough for you on the node. So if you're where I'm at in the game, not really spending, make sure you can be nimble and pivot when you need to.
But yeah, I'm going to push him up to tier 15 for the purposes of Scourge alone. Don't really love him more than that, but I know for beginning players, he can be a useful character because he is Mystic and Hero, and that gets you through some campaigns that you wouldn't be otherwise be able to get through. All right, let's move on to Ultron. Oh boy, I got a lot of baggage with Ultron.
Before he says anything, this is one of the main things that I agree with probably 75% of the recommendations MrHartgrave makes, honestly. When I watch the streams or YouTube video or whatever. One thing that I have never been able to get behind, and I'm going to guess this is where he's going with it, is when he was recommending taking red stars into Ultron. To me, that was always just like, God, please don't do it. It was clear how important dark promo credits were going to be, that other characters were going to need dark promo credits, and that's the way that they were going. And investing in Ultron at that time, when you could put dark promo credits into him, to me was just trying to make a character that was no longer important a little bit more important. And it was just like chasing a dead meta in my mind. So to me, that always seemed like a bad idea. I think mine's level 75 G14. I don't use him anywhere. I don't find him to be particularly useful. He's not a terrible character per se, but like this game has passed Ultron by, and that's one thing that strongly have disagreed with MrHartgrave in the past as far as recommending really investing in Ultron. He's just not that important, so we'll see what he says.
Not gonna lie, I've said a lot of stuff about Ultron over the years, might come back to bite me in the ass right now. Ultron, boy, I defended Ultron way longer than anybody else. I feel like the moment the Bionic Avengers team came out, it was kind of the death knell for Ultron. It was kind of over. Will he come?
I would say it's been over for a long time, but that's just my take.
Back? I don't know. He's not daily use. I don't use him daily. He's not usable on Cosmic Crucible.
I don't use him almost anywhere.
I don't really find him useful in Scourge. You're probably better off not taking him into Dark Dimension 4, although I could understand people taking him into Dark Dimension 4.
I would not.
At this point,
I would recommend
Ultron, in the lifespan
many
of the
characters
game,
over that.
We got to put him at tier 12. I'm sorry, longtime viewers. I'm sorry to do it that way. I'm sorry to back out on Ultron. Look, I kept it going for as long as I possibly could. There it is.
I'd like to say, while I do strongly disagree with this recommendation on Ultron, big respect to this man for making a bold statement like that and sticking with it and holding it down. And also even more respect to him revisiting now at a later date and being like, I've kind of readjusted my thoughts. So props to him for that.
It is. His last moment that he had was a pocket dimension. We had a pocket dimension where Ultron basically soloed that bitch. But we can't just bank on that happening every few months. So yeah, no, Ultron, tier 12. Build him if you want. Whatever. Venom, man, am I going to rank Venom higher than Ultron? You see, the thing about Venom is there's a lot of Scourges where you can really rely upon symbiotes, like to a disturbing degree.
Not sure where he's going to go with this, but personally, I would not recommend anyone invest in symbiotes, honestly. Even like I get why people bring like Symbiote Spider-Man into DD5 and take him to tier 16. That always seemed like a terrible idea to me. I wouldn't do that myself. I find almost no use in symbiotes. It's very rare that I even find use for them at this point. Web Warriors have completely blown the doors off of them for raid stuff, and they're just like I'm cleaning up a trash, unevenly built Doc Ock team, Sinister 6 team, or something like that. I personally would not invest in symbiotes anymore myself, but that's just me. I wouldn't bother. They just don't have much use, personally, in my opinion.
I think it was Rogue. I think even, I think the Rogue Scourge. For the Rogue Scourge, you can really abuse symbiotes. I don't know, though. I still don't think it's worth it. And definitely not Venom. Venom's like the worst symbiote.
Yeah, he is the worst character on the team.
I'm going to leave him at tier 12. But I understand people that would still have the impulse to build them to tier 15. And if you have symbiotes at tier 15, you can get use out of them. You definitely wouldn't move them up to to level 90. All right, we'll talk about that more when we get to the other symbiote characters. But as far as Venom goes, tier 12. Okay. Vision. Vision is all right, and by Vision we're starting to talk about Bionic Avengers now. For some players, it's daily. It's level 90. Absolutely. I see some other people taking this team to tier 16, which I think is a really bad idea. Like maybe one of the worst ideas. So I definitely wouldn't do that. And I've said the Bionic Avengers, a lot of people got me twisted on this. I've said that I'm not building Bionic Avengers, and there might be a lot of players like me who are also not building Bionic Avengers, and that might be the best idea. Okay? That might be the best idea. However, I do understand that for probably 50% of players, at least in-game players, 50% of in-game players don't need Bionic Avengers, and 50% of players do. So for those 50% of players that do, I'm going to put Vision here at level 90. He's daily use for 50% of in-game.
Yeah, so I'm left side in Doom 3.4. We run 60% on Doom 3.4 daily. My entire Bionic Avengers team is level 90. I think they're all G15 at this point, and if they're not, they're going to be there soon. So that's where I'm with it, with that team. I think they're excellent. They're fantastic, and even in 3.4 at the relatively, at my level, kind of like humble power level that I have that team at, they still do amazing. You should never really invest in teams that are already doing what you need them to do. When they stop doing that, consider more investment, but that's always a good kind of rule of thumb for this game. Invest until, they're getting it done, and then stop there. That being said, we know that they are going to be needed for the Death Scourge. So I am fully prepared using them daily, and eventually we're going to be hitting 3.5 in Doom. I have them as max as I can go at G15, but I am fully prepared to take them at G16 because I think they're a fantastic team. So I will be ready to pivot to that if needed myself once Death Scourge comes around, once we're in 3.5 in Doom 3 raid. And I love Bionic Avengers, so I think I probably like him more than him, but I also think he's on the other side of the raid lane. I do tech section daily. I don't believe he does. He probably doesn't, so I understand this recommendation.
Players. And they do serve a purpose in Cosmic Crucible for players that have not built up, like Uncanny X-Men. Uncanny X-Men also lays waste to Web Warriors on a 300k punch-up. Not a problem. But I understand that Bionic Avengers do that as well. Great. Good.
And they do it better.
I put them up to level 90. All right, Vulture.
There's almost nothing can go wrong in that matchup with Bionic Avengers.
Holy crap.
They just crush them.
No use for Vulture tier 12. All right,
Agreed.
Yondu. Ravagers. The Ravagers are a Scourge team. However, I feel like they're an unnecessary part of the Scourge team. And for that reason, we're going to knock it down to tier 12. I don't think Ravagers ever really had their day in this game.
I have not brought up my Ravagers for any of them. He might actually be T13. Don't do that, by the way, my Yondu. I don't know why he's G13, but I think he is. Star-Lord T'Challa is amazing. I use him pretty much every day. I brought him into DD5 with me, so mine is G16. But I have no interest in bringing them up, even if they are for Scourge. I just can't bring myself to level a whole bunch of minions. It's just not worth it to me. So unless they're the difference between me getting like a 5, 6, or 7 star Red Hawk, I'm not going to do it. Honestly, if I got a 6-star Red Hawk, I would sooner just wait for the next pass before I would bring up Ravagers to try to like push to see if I can get the top whatever it is to get him at 7 stars. So I agree with him. I wouldn't really mess with Ravagers myself. That being said, if you're a big time spendy boy, this list probably doesn't apply to you anyway, and you probably have a massive Ravagers, and I'm sure you're going to do great in the War Scourge. So that's good.
I don't think there's any point to it. I'm not sold on Ravagers any way, shape, or form. They were a stopgap team. They were maybe the best ever. I throw around the term trap team a lot. I know I'm guilty, but I think Ravagers really were a trap team, and I think they remain that way. All right, Carnage. Now, Carnage is better than Venom, but yeah, I still don't think I can put the rub on symbiotes and say that they're a tier 15 team. I would have a hard time saying that, and with a straight face.
I'd have
so I'm going to keep
a hard
them down
time
here.
recommending anyone invest in them any more than they already
for
have.
Scourge, symbiotes can be very good, but I think it's more something that if you already have it built, then it's something you can have fun with.
That's fair.
But I can't recommend people do it.
Agreed.
All right, Ghost Rider, and by extent, the Dark Hunters. I do like the Dark Hunters rework quite a bit because I over-invested in Dark Hunters as a Scourge team. They are not necessary as a Scourge team. You can get a million points out of the Morgan Le Fay Scourge without ever touching the Dark Hunters. You can do it all with Web Warriors. I believe I have a video on that, even to back that up.
That is true. I really like Dark Hunters. I don't have crazy investment in them. I think a couple of them are G14. A few of them might be 15 at this point. They do make getting a higher score in the MLF Scourge much easier. You don't need crazy investment in them to do that. I use them as a sack team on Node 10, and with a ton of Scourges, I was able to get a 7 yellow as a non-spender first pass. So they can really help out in that regard. I like War, but I'm not crazy in love with War. I don't go crazy with just War teams. That being said, after the addition of Mordo to the team and after the rework to how the Morbius passive works and everything like that, they can do some serious damage to Hero for Hire team. If you guys care about War, they can do massive punch-ups on that team. They do very well against them, and you don't even need that big of investment in them to do that. They're really, really great on War offense. No surprise there now.
Yeah, man, for most players, it's a totally skip team, though. Another legit trap team. I fell for the trap. I built them. Some of that's just because I like those characters.
I don't necessarily agree that they're a trap team, but I will agree that they are good in pretty much War offense. And as a sack team in the MLF Scourge, you can probably get away with not investing in them or investing minimally in them. But that being said, I don't regret my team. I thoroughly enjoy Dark Hunters. I think they're a lot of fun to play. I'm glad that I have them when I need them, but I do get what he's saying here.
Characters. I like Ghost Rider. I like Morbius. What's done is done. All right, we're moving on to Hela. Speaking of what's done is done, man. Yeah, tier 12 right now. I hope they give the villain Asgardians a rework to kind of keep up with the hero Asgardians, but they haven't done that yet. Mr. Sinister is crazy fun.
It's true.
But useless. I'm sorry, there's no point to it. It's just, man,
he's too slow.
How these things change. I mean, if you ask me a month from now, and we might have to do this every month, like Mr. Sinister, I think a few months ago, I had him on my safe to build list. I was like, hey, this game's great. And really more of that was focused around Tower. And we do have Tower coming back this month. And when you talk about Tower,
I feel the same way about Pocket Dimension as I do about Tower, and that's that Pocket Dimension has much better rewards, but they come around so infrequently that I would not recommend anyone build anything just for a Tower or Pocket Dimension, unless it's like minimal investment for like Pocket Dimension, just like get something done that you wouldn't be able to otherwise do. But it's so infrequent, even with the great rewards, that I'd be hesitant to recommend anyone build anything specifically for either of those modes myself. And I agree with the placement of Mr. Sinister here. He's too slow. His best days are far behind him. Even Kestrel coming out is not a big deal because that's only one character. Obviously, she like hard counters him. But even that's not a big deal. But just in general, he's just so slow now and squishy that he's not doing a whole lot these days. So I agree with this.
or some of these characters get more stock. Like I think you could raise Ultron up. I think you could raise Mr. Sinister up. I think there's more reason to talk about them if Tower was going to be a consistent game mode. But we really don't have any indication of that. Now we might be able to change that, next month if we see Tower coming back on like a regular basis. But I don't know. I haven't seen it happen yet. So Hela and Mr. Sinister have got to stay down here. Strife stays down here. Nick Fury fell off. He lasted a long time, and I know. Long-term fans also just boo Mr. Hart. I need a button that boos me. I could use one that cheers me as well, but I definitely need one that boos me.
Nick Fury's job is to special and then die. Only place I use him is SA Fury Kestrel teams and the obscure situation where I need to speed up my team because he gives all of the buffs to the entire team regardless of whether they're Avengers or not. Like Black Widow, she has a percentage chance for, I think it's either non-Avengers or non-Wave 1. So Fury is useful, but his usefulness, in my opinion, comes down to use your special and then die. I wouldn't invest in him.
For Nick Fury, Yeah, I don't know, man. Shang-Chi entirely replaced Nick Fury. Like, entirely. For the Doom 2, you could get some mileage out of Nick Fury for sure on the skill nodes, but when it comes to the Doom 3, Shang-Chi is king, and I don't want to recommend people build Kree minions anymore. Screw it.
Agreed.
You do need them if you want Omega Red, and I'm curious what we're gonna rule on Omega Red. I don't know where I'm gonna put them in here, but the old legendaries seem to be dying out, which is a good thing because unlocking the old legendaries and not the Scourge legendaries is very difficult in this game. So really, keeping them at tier 12 or unlocked or locked is probably a good thing for most players. All right, Yo-Yo is a Scourge. Inhumans are part of a Scourge team, but
Not
they're
important.
useless.
Yep.
You don't need them at all for the Rogue Scourge. Got to stick Yo-Yo down here. Man, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. too. This hurts me to do it. All right, Sif. Does Sif go up to tier 15 with Thor? I don't know. It depends on, how much you like Scourge.
I think you're going to try to balance that team as much as you can
Thor
if you're
gets
going
the
to bring him in
boost
Scourge.
because not only is he a hero Asgardian,
He's also
but he's
wave
also
one.
a Avenger.
Yep.
And now we have Avenger nodes. Like, he kind of does double duty. So that raises his stock for me, in my mind. And you have, like, such a strong Avengers team. Because thinking about more than people just in the end game. Like, this is for everybody, in my opinion. And, I mean, you could translate this to, like, S rank, A rank, whatever you wanted to do. Thor is clearly better than Sif. I am building Sif.
Same.
I feel like she belongs more down here in tier 12.
I'd put her in a
than
tier
anything
14
else.
category if it was
Chat
there.
wants to know about red stars. I don't really know. For a character to be usable in this game, you really need them kind of at 5. For a character to be usable in the end game of Marvel Strike Force, they need to have 5 red stars. Anything over that doesn't matter at any level. It's cool. It's great, but I don't know. Sif.
I find 4 or 5 to be
feel
minimum
like
viable at my
she
level.
should be down in tier 12. I'm just trying to figure out what's my justification. I feel like Thor is in the right spot. But, like, why am I putting Thor up there and Sif down here? You know what? Thor will carry the team. Thor is a more important member of the team than Sif. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Maybe I'll adjust it later. Heimdall, I think same thing. Mystic characters are really hard for me to invest in as well. Like, I
Heimdall's
definitely wouldn't move
expensive,
Heimdall up into tier 15. Especially if I'm doing Thor.
Again, I have all of
subject. All right, Black
T14,
Bolt,
but I get what he's saying.
Yeah, we're going to put him down in tier 12 for sure. Old legendaries have really dropped.
Yeah, I had a bunch of bio. I ended up bringing my Black Bolt into DD5. His only job was to be a skirmisher and put vulnerables on people so that a Mega Red and MLF, when I went through it, could carry the entire team. And I had a bunch of extra bio gear. That being said, he is a part of a Dormammu counter that I use frequently in at least last season, Cosmic Crucible, and in War. So I am glad that I have a strong Black Bolt. He can really do some work there with the burps and shutting people down with the Dormammu revive on him. That being said, he's ultimately not that important, so I get this.
Off in this game, really not useful at all anymore. All right, Symbiote Spider-Man. If there's one symbiote that I'm going to raise up, I think it would be Symbiote Spider-Man, and definitely for Dark Dimension. And I know a lot of people took him up to like tier 16, which I think is way crazy. That's way too much. Symbiote Spider-Man's also a really good like stopgap for a lot of new players. I might hate myself in the morning for it, but I'm going to throw Symbiote Spider-Man just up here.
Again, I would not invest in symbiotes at all myself at this current stage of the game. He's obviously the best one. You can drop him on, Spider-Verse team. I think he gives his health bonus and everything to the entire Spider-Verse team. So that's kind of cool, but it's so infrequent that I even find a use for symbiotes anymore that I would not recommend investing in any of them, and that includes Symbiote Spider-Man, sad to say, but that's just me.
We're in the tier 15 Scourge Dark Dimension 4 zone. Mostly as a Dark Dimension 4 consideration for anybody that has him. It might not be the worst thing. We are going to throw Red Skull down here in tier 12. He doesn't
Not
even
important.
need to be a high tier to work. We're going to throw the rest of the Inhumans down here. Brotherhood goes down here.
Not that important.
Quake goes down here. Ironheart goes down here. I think the rest of the Black Order at this point is full dead in this game. I think it is over at this point.
I put
so I think
Thanos
we can
with
go
him
down
myself,
here. I
but
think Thanos still goes up there in tier 15. I think that's fine. Okay,
Disagree, but-
Taskmaster, we just got the Underworld rework. Where does that play into our lives as Marvel Strike Force players? What is happening? Are they a Scourge team? Do you use them in Dark Dimension 4? Are they going to be daily use? Are they going to be used in Cosmic Crucible? I don't have the most information in this. This might change around later. It's possible. But for right now, it does appear to be a very skippable team.
I fully agree with this. As a non-spender, I think they're going to be a very good team. I've seen a lot of promising stuff from them, but outside of war, I just don't know about it. I'm in no rush to build any of these guys up. I will probably take them to 75 G14 at some point. My level in the game, that's just like the absolute minimum viable that you could even have a character exist really in war. So that's probably where I'm taking them. That being said, I understand this. They seem trap team. I don't know. Jury's still out on that, but I'm not that excited about them. So I get what you're saying with this.
With the exception of maybe a couple members, and we've already talked about this in a previous video, but we'll talk about it more later. All right, X-Force is totally dead, like entirely gone. Wow, it's been really dead for a long time too. Sad about that one. All right, Squirrel Girl.
Agreed.
Squirrel Girl's a strong Scourge team. We got to put Young Avengers up here in Scourge. Yeah, tier 15 team. Actually, I'm going to elevate them, especially with this upcoming War Scourge, knowing that we do have those Avenger nodes. We got those Avenger nodes. I kind of want to downgrade Thor. But maybe I'll just keep him up there.
I agree. Young Avengers are amazing. She's going to do great in any dark dimension you bring her into. I think all of mine are G16 at this point, with the exception of America Chavez. And they're just an amazing all-around team. They're great. You could bring Squirrel Girl into DD5, and you'd be super happy that you did. She's going to do a lot of work for you. Primarily a war defense team, sure, but they're useful in Scourges when you need, when it's limited to just Young Avengers. And she's also going to be useful in the Avengers-specific nodes. And they're just a great all-around team. They're going to get a lot of work done. Tower and stuff doesn't come around all that often, but they're going to do work for you there in that mode as well. I just think they're a great team, and I don't think that you're really, you're going to regret any investment really in them.
Because if you have Young Avengers at tier 15, do you really need Thor? Do you really need a Wave 1 Avenger team? I'll just put him up there because all right, here's why Thor goes up there and not Sif and not Heimdall. The reason why Thor goes up to 15 and Sif and Heimdall don't is because Thor is doing double duty. He's doing Wave 1 Avengers and he's doing Hero Asgardian. So no matter what way you want to go on that, right? You're probably going to want a Node 5 team at some point, right? To get either a million points. To get a million points on the War Scourge, you need a Node 5 team. You don't necessarily need Hero Avengers, but you're going to need Thor. Thor is
Hero
not
Asgard,
replaceable.
meant to say.
I mean, maybe you can do a full team of Ravagers, but I wouldn't advise it. I would say build Thor because then you have the most kind of agency. You can have Iron Man and Hulk hang out with him, or you can build into full Hero Avengers. I would go ahead and do that. All right. Rocket Raccoon,
Garbage.
totally useless. The Shield minions,
Garbage.
absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. And just new players. Dude, you can do any of these things. Any of these characters you want to take to tier 12, you go ahead and do it. It's not going to hurt your account. That's really good news, actually. You can mess around. Hey, man, Winter Soldier's my favorite. Take him to tier 12. It's not going to hurt you. Please go ahead. Don't stop yourself from having fun because of a stupid tier list or some in-game requirement. Here, all the hand can go down here. They all suck.
Garbage.
No worries. Groot can go down here. Invisible Woman. Okay, good. A lot of my work is done for me. Yeah, Drax. Don't let anybody fool you about Drax. He's stupid. He's useless. Okay, Wolverine. Let's talk about Wolverine. Weapon X. Where does Weapon X fall in this new meta? They can't really be used in Scourge. I know some people do. Some people use Weapon X without Lady Deathstrike because she's not a mutant. And you can do that. Or you can use the team as a villain team with no Wolverine. It's a really tricky team to use in Scourge. And it can be really good. But man, and we have so many, now we have all these new war meta teams. So if you want to get into war, it doesn't even make sense to build Weapon X. I know some people are using them. Hey, it's great. If you're using it, it's working for you, great.
I personally fall in the category of I love Weapon X. We'll see how useful they are come this. Again, I wouldn't say build anything specifically for Cosmic Crucible unless you're, really, really, big spender, high level guy. That being said, I do think Wolverine's going to be sneaky good in this season of Cosmic Crucible with that Age of X global buff. That being said, he's also the most replaceable character on that team. So wherever you personally rank Weapon X, Wolverine is going to be a step down from that. He is the most replaceable character on the team. That being said, I love Weapon X. I have a blast playing with them. I like playing with them in war. Last preseason, I guess, in Cosmic Crucible, I used them all the time. They did a lot of work for me. But whatever you rank Weapon X for you and how important they are for you, I would put Wolverine slightly below the rest of the team myself. He's the most replaceable member on that team.
But Wolverine himself? I don't know, man. I think it's a tier 12 situation. I think Weapon X has fallen right the fuck off.
If there was a tier 14, I would recommend that for Wolverine for most people.
Young Avengers, I would say, is holding more value. Wakanda, level 90. If you want to do good at Cosmic Crucible, which I think is going to be incredibly important, you're going to want to use Wakanda. You're absolutely going to want to use Wakanda.
I have a really tough time with Wakanda. Mine, with the exception of Shuri, that I ended up bringing into Dark Dimension with some extra tech gear. The only real value that I have seen with them is in Cosmic Crucible. All of mine, again, except for Shuri, I think are level 75 and G14. They're just kind of an expensive team. They use a lot of mystic gear. You really need not a crazy amount, but a good amount of tier 4s in them in order to get them to do what you want them to do. So I don't know. I think maybe he values them a little more than I do. That being said, they are incredible in Cosmic Crucible. So if you really love Cosmic Crucible, you're going to need to invest in them heavily. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll bring mine up higher than level 75 G14, but I'm not sure about that. I'm hesitant to go on Wakanda myself. But if you're playing at the crazy high levels of CC, you probably have to. So, but if you're doing that, maybe this isn't the video for you. But I don't know.
All right, Black Widow. Yeah, that's a thing of the past. Cable is interesting.
Tier 12. It's got to be.
If we look at this, we do have to consider Arena. Cable is almost daily use. He's daily use for me. I don't have him built to level 90, but I wouldn't hate anybody that did because I can't stop using Cable. Using Cable. So I'm going to...
This is one thing that I have to strongly disagree with him on. Cable's use, in my opinion, is for his passive. It's to let you go first in the mirror matchup and give you the edge. You drop him in place of Phantom X. Oh, stop it, buddy. You drop him in place of... sorry if you guys get some whining. My dog's being a little whiny baby today. Drop him in place of Phantom X in Unlimited X-Men, and you're going to win the mirror matchup, and it's going to be very easy. But he is there for his passive. I think mine is level, I don't know what the level is. His power level is 75,000. And it just doesn't matter because the teams that you're using him in, he's not there to do anything. He's there to show up and have his passive and give you the edge in the turn meter games so you can do things before the enemy team does. That's really it. So I just deeply disagree with this myself. But if you guys think I'm off base with that, tell me in the comments below. But yeah. I think just having Cable literally exist and show up to the fight is all you need him to do. Mine dies instantaneously everywhere I use him, and it really doesn't matter. He's so power crept at this point. He's just there for his passive. I wouldn't put anything into him, honestly.
I'm going to put him up in the level 90 tier. He is just... You can't get rid of him. You don't need him at level 90. I think you at least need him at tier 15.
I don't think you need him there.
You may as well level 90 him. If you have the spare resources, he's like the last one you should level 90, but yeah, he is there. All right, Captain America. I know that Captain Marvel is a Scourge team, but she's not important. Young Avengers are way more important. She's more of a luxury. A lot of this tier...
She is a luxury. I'd recommend if you're going to be building A-Force, if you have any interest in them at all, at least have them at G14. I really enjoy A-Force. I have a lot of fun playing them. Them with Doom, I find myself using often in War Attacks, Cosmic Crucible. When you need them, they are very nice to have, but it is a bit of a luxury team, and you really didn't end up needing them at all in the Rogue Scourge. So do with that what you will, but I am glad that I have my A-Force where they're at. So, but I understand what he's saying here. And of all of them, she's probably... maybe the least important. So
12 stuff is just luxury stuff. Yeah. Colossus. I don't put Colossus up in the same rank as Storm. Storm, I will say, is tier 15. Maybe even level 90. Colossus, not needed. It's really Storm, Phoenix, and Magic that make that work. Colossus really plays no part in it. Not important. Daredevil fell the hell off. He's tier 12.
I'm more of a, if you're going to use the team anywhere, at least I'm a G14 again, at least at my level. So I think I value Colossus more than he does, but get what he's saying. He's just there to buy you a little bit of time. But where I'm at, you need a Colossus there to buy you a little bit of time. But I do understand what he's saying.
Doctor Strange, you got to be kidding me. Elektra, absurd. Falcon, sorry, you were replaced by a better version of yourself. Gamora, Infinity Watch. Definitely a Scourge team. Definitely a very important Scourge team to have Gamora and Nebula, if not all of Infinity Watch. I have not taken my Infinity Watch to level 90 because I feel like, all right, I feel right now, to be honest, yes, Infinity Watch is still level 90. Tomorrow, probably not. We have a death team coming. As soon as that
I agree with this. I want to say my entire team for Infinity Watch is G15, I think like level 80, 85, and they still, personally, what I use them for, get the job done. I found them to be one of the best catch-all teams in the game. When you don't know what the answer is, oftentimes dropping in Infinity Watch will get it done. Sorry about the dog. But they are, yeah, I get what he's saying. I mean, their height is behind them. They're going to continue to fall off. I'm glad I have them now, but I would be hesitant to recommend someone that doesn't already have them up to where I have them invest in them. And I have no interest in investing in them any further unless a situation arises. So I get what he's saying.
death team comes, they're probably out. In fact, Tangled Web probably killed Infinity Watch. But I'd say tier 15 for sure. And definitely Dark Dimension 4. If you're going to go get Doom, you can put tier 15 on Gamora and not look back. You're going to be fine. Green Goblin. This is interesting. I feel that Green Goblin and Mr. Negative are going to be part of a new Cosmic Crucible team. I think it's safe to take Green Goblin up to level 90. Hot take. This is my new hot take.
I don't know enough about... I haven't spent enough time with Underworld Team to really have an opinion on this. So I'm not going to comment on this. Be interested to see what that team does. So, I don't know. We'll see.
Is Green Goblin's good for level 90? I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going Green Goblin all the way. I'm team Green Goblin. He's my new Ultron. I'm loving Green Goblin. Let's go.
Strong take, but...
All right. Hawkeye is no Green Goblin. So, no, he's not going up. Hulk. Horseman, baby. Yep. It's a horseman, baby.
Best.
Let's go for it. Let's go, Hulk. You glorious, glorious bastard. All right. Hydra minions, AIM minions, Human Torch. These are all tier 12. Man, minions make me allergic. I apologize if I sneeze. I've been sneezing a lot. Allergies coming on. I don't know what's going on. All right. We have Iron Fist. Yeah, no, they got no purpose in here. Iron Man. Iron Man is super, super good. Iron Man... I'm going to put Iron Man up to tier 16 for Dark Dimension 5. I think Iron Man kind of is the whole reason to have this there. If there's any character that I would take to tier 16, but not take to tier 17, it would be Iron Man for the purposes of getting Dormammu. This is the best legendary. Outside of...
I don't think he's a bad pick at all. Again, Bionic Avengers are fantastic. I have not taken my Iron Man up to 16 yet, but one day I may need to as we continue to push in Doom and eventually lead into 3.5. I may need that. If you have the extra tech gear, Bionic Avengers are such a good raid team that I don't really hate this idea. I think Iron Man is pretty expensive, if I'm not mistaken, but you have the extra tech gear. You probably won't regret it. Bionic Avengers are just that good. And he is a legendary. You're going to need him. Or you're going to need someone in there. So, hell, might as well be Iron Man.
Of the Four Horsemen, adding him, because, and the reason why is you might not be in a spot to get Apocalypse. We don't know when Apocalypse is finally coming. But if you want to...
Sorry in advance if you guys are getting crazy cat screaming. My cat is going wild in the background. My fiance just got home, so sorry for that.
To get into Legendary... You know, I think Iron Man makes the most sense for Dark Dimension 5. I think he's a really good pick. If you have not completed Dark Dimension 5, I would take Iron Man. I stand by that. All right, Jessica Jones, no, crappy. Come on, really? Juggernaut, man, so many characters in this game are dead. We got Wakanda up here. All right, that goes to level 90. These guys will help you in Scourge, too. Wakanda are amazing in Scourge. Very good team. Kingpin, sucks, still sucks. Sorry, Underworld team, I got no love for it out the gate. I'm not feeling it. Kree minions, all a total disaster.
Garbage.
Never really been worth building at all. Tier 12, all the way. Some people like Loki. Man, if Loki was a hero Asgardian, or just, like a Scourge team, I could put him up higher. I could even put him up to level 90, but he's really not. Nah, sorry, Loki. You're just in here with your sister. It's not working. Luke Cage told.
Yeah, so I have trouble understanding the logic behind this pick. So they're both there for their passive, more or less, and I think you could argue even Loki does more for you. You know, if you got a high enough investment, and I'm not saying you should invest in them, but with putting the defense down, turning the enemy team against itself. So it's bizarre to me that he's ranked Cable so high. Obviously, Cable gives 5% turn meter to everyone, regardless of what traits they have. Loki is just Mystic Controllers, I believe it is, but he gives them more. I think it's 10%. But yeah, it's just, I guess I don't really understand that take, valuing Cable so high while not valuing Loki. I stick with the same thing I said about Cable, is that they both need to show up. They can go ahead and die, and it's almost never a big deal. It might hurt you a little bit on efficiency in Cosmic Crucible, but I wouldn't invest in someone just for a little bit of efficiency. But yeah, bizarre take. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
Useless M'Baku. We're going to keep up here in level 90. Still crushing it. Magneto, no good. We're going to Mantis. Oh, man. Mantis is so sad. Mantis is probably one of the most tragic characters in all of Marvel Strike Force.
Agreed. She was good for like a week and a half.
My heart.
And then Minerva came out.
Obsolete the day she came out. Minerva absolutely stole her thunder. It was so sad. And they've never given it back. Unbelievable. This character has sucked from day one. There's been no point to build her. It's the worst. Probably done the dirtiest out of any character in Marvel Strike Force history to this date. Because other characters they've done dirty, but then they've come around and they've redeemed them. Mantis, just dumped on from day one. It's absurd. Oh man, the Merc team just got destroyed by Underworld. There's no point to the Merc team anymore. Skill military is a thing of the past. Minerva's totally in the past. Mordo. No, being a Dark Hunter doesn't save him. Miss Marvel, though, still extremely.
I get his take with the Dark Hunters and by extension A-Force. I think I value him a little bit more. I'd be happy to G14 any of them, but I get what he's saying. Limited usefulness. That being said, when I need him, I'm glad that I have him. But
good for Scourge. Extremely good. Mysterio Sinister 6 is kind of out of here. Brotherhood still pretty dog shit. Some people like the rework to Namor. I'm not one of those people. We're going to go ahead and move Nebula up here with her sister. That pairing is still super, super, super good. Night Nurse, no good. Nobu. Dude, Nobu is not good. Not even with the rework. Like the rework on Nobu, you could put another member on that team and probably do more with that team. Just from reading it. I don't know it from experience, but just from reading the kits, I'm like, what's the point of Nobu? Deflect entirely shuts him down. Useless at that point. All right, Phoenix, I'm going to put up here with Storm. Scourge. Awesome. And Dark Dimension 4. Great character taken into Dark Dimension 4 to go get Doom. Gonna be a little harder to get, but...
I even took her into DD5. Mine's G16. I did have some extra mutant gear. Unless they get rid of Legendary Section in the future, or I guess maybe with all the Horsemen, you prefer to go that route. Yeah, I just... that percentage lifesteal and the fact that she comes back with all her cooldowns... is really, really excellent, and I was glad I had her. Yeah, she's still a very good character. Anyone with a high health pool, that Storm pops off and does the lifesteal, that's going to be good for a long time, I think.
Phoenix is probably one of the easier legendaries to grab, especially if you're grabbing Thor, you get Morgan Le Fay. There's a few of these characters out there now that you can get stars on and grab her a little easier than the other ones. Psylocke, ouch. Yep. Psylocke is close to Mantis. Psylocke almost got the Mantis treatment. All right, Punisher. Man, I've said a lot of nice things about Punisher in the past.
He's not on board anymore.
I like him for Scourge.
Really?
I like him for Scourge, but he doesn't need to be alive. So you can have him at tier 12, and you can bring him into Scourge, and you can give the damage boost to Shang.
See, yeah, again, I have a hard time reconciling this in my mind, because you don't need Cable to be alive. So, yeah, I don't know. I know he's talking about the passive, and yeah, he can die and they'll still get it. I just really stuck on the Cable thing. I need to move past that, but yeah, I agree. Punisher, not very important anymore.
Because he doesn't need to be alive, I can't say that he needs to be any higher than tier 12. Characters that don't need to be alive don't get to be higher than tier 12.
Cable, MrHartgrave, Cable.
Cyclops is still dead in my book. He's going to be nice when they get the new Cosmic Crucible buffs that are coming. Then I'll use Cyclops, but he'll be dead as soon as that's over. Rescue, Rhino. Oh my God, so many characters are dead. Yeah, sorry guys, Weapon X is over. I'm calling it now. I'm just gonna call a mortem on Weapon X. That team's over. Scarlet Witch better than.
I like Weapon X more than he does. I'd take Sabretooth. Sabretooth super cheap. I'd take him to G14 myself. more important than Wolverine on the team. But yeah, I think I like Weapon X more than he does.
All of Weapon X, fight me on it. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We're gonna get some hate with this video. That's cool. I like hate. Leave it down in the comments down below. I'll laugh at it, and then have a good day. Okay, we're going to move on to Beast. Beast is daily. Daily. And man, do I want to be controversial? I do. I do want to be controversial. I'm going to put Beast up to tier 16.
I would not do that. I think mine is like level. He's got like going on 90. G15. I don't know. Depends on how important getting through the mutant nodes in Doom 3 are to you. It's the last thing that I hit, so I don't know. I'm also hard pressed to continue to invest anything in X-Men with potentially Death being a mutant raid squad. Who knows if that's actually how that pans out? But yeah, I just X-Men struggle so hard in everything I'm doing that it just doesn't feel good investing in them, so I don't. That's an interesting take. I do not value Beast as highly as he does, though he's a obviously very important linchpin character on that team.
I'm going to stand by it. Why Beast at tier 16? Why Beast at tier 16? Because he's really good. And if you're going after Dark Dimension 5 and you're looking for mutants and maybe you should really save the gear for the Unlimited X-Men. You should really save the gear for the Unlimited X-Men. But if you can't wait, you could take Beast. And it wouldn't be the worst thing you ever did in your entire life. It would not be horrible.
Technically true, not the worst thing you ever did in your entire life. I still wouldn't do it.
So you could do it. I don't know. You really should save the gear for Unlimited X-Men, though. So I'm going to take him down to level 90.
My man.
I like hate. I don't like that much hate.
Here he goes, totally redeeming himself.
I'm going to avoid that. I'm already stepping on a landmine, putting Green Goblin up to level 90. I'm going to avoid that. Emma Frost is daily use in the arena. Do you need her at level 90? No. You can put her at tier 15, but you may as well take her to level 90. She'll live a little longer. Sure, why not? Zemo.
Emma, I don't know if there's ever been a single character that has had the shelf life as Emma does. She's just amazing. Like you said, you don't need them big. She's really, you get through her special and her ultimate, and she's pretty much done everything she needs to do. Most of what she does just involves the passive ability with the 10% speed reduction. She's just an all-around excellent character. I think mine is like level 85, G15. I'm still, top 10, anywhere rank 1 to 5, like 90% of the time in my arena, and always top 10. Mine's G15, level 85. She's still doing what I need her to do. Yeah, Emma's just an amazing character in that passive, right? Like, she's a way better character than Cable and Loki in every single regard, and we're still using both of them. So she ain't going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think you're going to regret your investment in her.
Man, Zemo thinks that he should be tier 17. Zemo thinks that he should be a horseman, but he's not a horseman. Sorry, Zemo. Are you even a Scourge character? Dude, you're not even a Scourge character. Now, I will divulge that I do use Zemo daily on the skill nodes on the Doom 3 for the boss. He does work well there. So maybe for some players, he'll be a character you can take up to level 90. I think for most players at this point, though, we can really leave him at tier 12. I'm sorry, Zemo.
I kind of agree with that. He's just so squishy, and he's a niche character. Now, when you need him and you need him to land something, I'm glad that mine's it, whatever he is, 80, G14 or whatever. But yeah, just not that important overall. That being said, when I need him, he often gets the job done that other people can't, so I am glad that I have him.
Oh. Zemo's going to be so upset. He's going to cry so
Doc
many
Ock,
tears.
not that important.
And I'm looking forward to it. All right, we're going to go ahead and put the rest of the Sinister Six down here. She-Hulk. Man, what a weird tier. What has happened to Marvel Strike Force?
Dude, She-Hulk slaps. She's great now.
Do you see what sagas have done to this game, guys? Do you see? Is it clear yet what sagas have done to this game? Could it be any more clear from just looking at this image what sagas have done to Marvel Strike Force? What damage has been done to Marvel Strike Force that we're taking Hulk, She-Hulk, and Scarlet Witch and ranking them above literally every other character in the game? Oh my God. But yeah, no one's going to fight me on this. Unfortunately, everyone has to agree these are tier 17
I'm just glad she's
characters.
finally useful now.
All right, Scream, no. Yeah, Symbiotes, we've already determined that. Doom. Doom is a very good character to have in your toolbox for Scourge. I would say worth unlocking still, worth taking to tier 15. Don't need him at level 90. He does everything he needs to do at a low level. It's just...
So I think mine is 90 and G16. I did bring him into DD5. I use Doom pretty much every day, and he really just enhances almost any team he's on. That passive is going to continue to be good for a long time, as he's giving three turns to, I think it's the highest damage character or whatever. Could you get through DD5 without him? Sure, you could. I am glad that I have him. I'm glad that he is G16. So I like him. I probably value him a little bit more. But yeah, I get what he's saying there. And you're going to get through DD5 one way or another. So I guess it just depends on how often, how frequently you're using Doom outside of that, because you wouldn't be happy looking back on the decisions you made about DD5 investment, and all Dark Dimensions for that matter. That being said, I am very glad that I have a G16 Doom.
Get him triggered, and he might even be a detriment at level 90, quite honestly. Pym Tech is so awful. Oh my god. I am going to do all you Shatterstar and Longshot bros a favor, and I am going to put them up here because I'm going to acknowledge that they are very useful in Scourge. I'm going to do it.
I don't value them as highly. They have a lot of, I think they're going to be very good now in this season of Cosmic Crucible, but that being said, outside of that, I can't recommend really investment in them myself.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to say we're going to put them up here in tier 15. Iceman and Kitty Pryde. I have not taken them to level 90, and I'm living life just fine. However, I do know that we are using them daily, so at some point I might end up doing that. Once again, these are not necessarily things I'm doing. I think it's safe to do it. I think it's safe to take Iceman and Kitty Pryde up to 90.
I think both of mine are either G15 or G14. I don't know. I just have a hard time investing in X-Men at this point. That's where I'm at. If you're doing a higher level Doom raid than me, we're at 3.4. If your alliance expects more and you have to just go balls to the wall on X-Men to keep hanging to your alliance, I get it. But yeah, I'm not putting anything else into them.
If you got the resources, you don't need to. You absolutely don't need to. All right, Jubilee. Yeah, once again, level 90 for Jubilee and Bishop. They go right here. Let's move Beast down with him. Let's get the whole team kind of together there. That looks nice. Okay, yeah. And yeah, I don't think I would tier. You really got to save your mutant here. The only reason why we can really move, I mean, like Iron Man goes up here for a couple of reasons: legendary and tech. We don't have other techs announced yet, and they probably will not release other. Like, I think it's pretty safe to say that the next Horseman team will not be tech. They might release some other characters that need to be tech. Dude, man, chat wants to complain about the gamma. We've been given so much gamma with these events. I'm not even worried about that at this point.
I agree with that myself. I have a boatload of gamma. So I don't know. Yeah, definitely consider that when you're thinking about Iron Man. That's a good point brought up by his chat. I have so much from the events. I have a ton of teal gamma. So I wouldn't hesitate on that, but I get what they're saying.
Spend away. Who cares? You'll get it eventually. It's a crappy bottleneck, but it can be overcome. All right, Shadowlands, they go down here. Silver Surfer is a Scourge character. I want to put him in tier 12. And maybe he should go there.
He's like a G14 character.
He's also probably worth considering taking into Dark Dimension 4, though. There's very few characters that are worth taking into Dark Dimension 4, especially cosmic characters. So I think Silver Surfer, we can put him at this tier 15 area for now. His stock is really dropping, though. He really does suck.
Yeah.
X Factor? Yeah, no way. The rest of Heroes for Hire, pretty crappy. Not very useful. All right, Kestrel. Kestrel's daily use for skill notes, for sure. Kestrel's really good. Really good character. Once again, she's got that tech thing going forward. I did say there was very few cosmic characters. Maybe Kestrel's still a character that we can afford at tier 16.
I brought her.
A lot of people think that she's going to be required for Apocalypse anyways. I don't know about that. I can't hold stock on that. But I think if you put tier 16 on her to go get Dormammu, I don't think you're an idiot at all. And that says a lot. I think most people are idiots. So I think that's solid. And I like to put some characters up there because I got nothing up there. And if I don't put anything up there, I'm going to have to delete the section. And I don't want to do that. I really don't want to delete the section. All right. Adam Warlock is not important for Infinity Watch. But if you do have him, I would tier 15 him. I think that's fair. I think it's fair to have all of Infinity Watch at tier 15 just for the Scourge. Just for the Scourge purposes. They're a very good team. If Tower ever does start running, they're essential for it. Okay, Sam is very, very good. a skill character. Now we don't. Some of this is contingent upon the next Horseman team coming out. And if the Death team is a skill team, then I might have to lower this. But for right now, I'm going to put Sam up at tier 16. Definitely a character that would not be horrible to take to go get Dormammu if that's what you're doing.
He was great in DD5 for me. I had a ton of skill gear. I brought in the entire Secret Avengers team. I brought in Doom and I brought in Lady Deathstrike, and I blew the doors right off that. And now I use all three of those characters in Doom 3.4, along with Kestrel and Shang-Chi, and they're fantastic, so I don't regret my investment in them whatsoever. I also use them daily. They're excellent war if you need them. I find I use them very often in Cosmic Crucible attacks. I am glad in the investment I have in that team, and I don't regret it. Obviously, like you said, Death comes out and there's a skill team. It ends up being a skill rate, like something crazy like that. Sure, this all changes. But for now, yeah, pleased with all the investment I've put in that team.
He has a lot of utility, very good character. He does nothing. Like, don't get me wrong, he does jack shit in Dark Dimension 5. He's almost useless in it. But it's not a horrible
I would
use of
disagree
gear.
with that.
I would not do any more than level 90 for Sharon Carter and Maria Hill, though. I would not move them up to tier 16. Sam would be the only one I can put that stamp of approval on. Deathpool.
I should also add that when I did it, it was before the Horseman stuff. And what we knew we needed and what characters were coming out. Now that we know about the requirements to actually have Apocalypse, you know, you may want to adjust some investment decisions based off that. So when I said I brought in full Secret Avengers, I did, and I love them. I'm not saying I would do that at this point in the game. Obviously, anywhere you can work in a Horseman team member, there you're going to get through Dark Dimension 5 anyway, so use them. You're going to need them up anyway. Have them do double duty, get through DD5 with them, and then have them at the higher level, higher gear tier for unlocking Apocalypse later.
I kind of want to put Deathpool up to level 90 because she does have some utility right now in Doom 3 for Mystic Notes. And probably useful for a lot of players in a lot of places. Use her in Scourge as well. I'm going to give her the level 90 for now. Plus, you know, we do kind of suspect maybe she'll be part of the whole, you know, strike team.
I like Deathpool a lot. That being said, I don't find myself needing her. Like where I'm at in 3-4 Doom is basically Dormammu with Darkhold. If that's not an option for you, New Warriors and Eternals still do a lot of work. Yeah, I find myself not needing Deathpool that often, to be honest. So I don't know. I could go either way with those.
For Apocalypse, it's possible they might put all their created characters up there because they love them so much. Anything could happen. Shang-Chi, 1000% is level 90. God, yeah, you know what? I got to put him in. I'll redo this when the Death team comes out and it's a skill team.
For now, Shang-Chi's amazing.
If you want to wait for the Death team to come out and see whether it's mutant or whether it's skill or whether it's, you know, bio, you know, who knows what they're going to do to us. If you want to wait for that, I applaud you. I think that's a great idea. If you don't want to wait for that, if you want to go get Dormammu, Shang-Chi to tier 16 is a fine move. Absolutely. Cloak and Dagger have fallen the fuck off. Look, if I'm going to put Shatterstar and Longshot in here for Scourge, I got to put Cloak and Dagger in here for Scourge. I think it's one or the other. I don't think you need both, but I'll stick them down here no higher. No higher. Omega Red.
They have fallen off. They're an amazing team. New Warriors. That being said, there's other teams that just simply do it better. I think Cloak's amazing in DD5. Dagger is way too expensive. I never should have brought her. That being said, she made it an absolute joke in City, but then I was short on Mystic. That was foolish of me in hindsight. Yeah, they have fallen off. Other teams do it better. So I get what he's saying here. I don't know. They occasionally trip people up in Cosmic Crucible, at least in last season, certain rooms. But yeah, I get what he's saying. You can probably get away with not building them.
All right, if any member of Weapon X was still going to hold value, it would be Omega Red. I think he has value in Scourge. And I've taken my Omega Red to level 90 because I do end up using him daily in the arena. He's crazy useful in Cosmic Crucible too. All right, we're going to pump him up. I'm going to put...
I love Omega Red. I took him to... He's an amazing DD5 character. Now, whether, you know, eventually you just go with all the Horseman characters and you drop Omega Red, I don't know. He does do percentage lifesteal on his basic and with the striker attack and all that. He's just a fantastic character. I use him every single day. He's a powerhouse. I love him. I took him to DD5. I have no regrets at all. Even if you end up breaking up the Weapon X team, slotting other people in. Omega Red's not going anywhere. He also does great as a standalone character. There's certain arena matches I use him in. I use him every day in War. I use him in Cosmic Crucible. He's just fantastic. So personally, he's a DD5 guy for me. But yeah.
Put the level 90 stamp on Omega Red. He can't go to level tier 16 anymore, and I think I did make a mistake when I did that, but we're going to put Omega Red. Check.
I did mine before we knew about all the Horseman stuff, and I didn't regret it. I don't even know if I would change anything now, assuming I still had the gear for the other, for the mutant teams, mutant Horseman teams. Yeah, he's just so good. I don't know. He's an amazing character. I don't know. I think I value him more than MrHartgrave does, but...
Chat's on there with me. Omega Red, especially if you have him unlocked. Dude, if you have him unlocked, he's such a pain in the ass to unlock. Go for it. Lady Deathstrike is right up there, man. I'm going to put her down here in the tier 15 for Scourge. I know she's really, really valuable for Scourge. And definitely not a bad idea for Dark Dimension 4, although I'd probably put that tech gear on Bionic Avengers instead. But definitely for Scourge purposes, I would put her there.
Brought her to DD5. I loved her. She's super cheap to bring up. She's the second best character on that team, in my opinion. I love Lady Deathstrike, and I'm glad I have a G16 one.
Silver Samurai, I would not. Dormammu. We're not... All right, so we're not going to tier 16 Dormammu because you can't use Dormammu to get Dormammu. I think he's daily use. He leans more towards being a defensive character for daily use. So I think level 90 is fine.
I don't regret my tier 16 Dormammu at all. He continues to be an absolute powerhouse. You can drop him in any team, makes him much better. He makes everyone else in the team scarier, giving him 2 lives. I don't know. I definitely value Dormammu more than he does. Dormammu's just great. He's going to be great for a long time, man. And I don't regret the 16 I have in him at all. So
it's, I guess, a step above Doom. Cool. All right. Icarus and Cersei. No longer tier 16. I can't say they're tier 16 anymore. For most of us, they're still going to be daily use in the arena and in Cosmic Crucible. So definitely level 90 them. But I would hold off on tier 16 for them. I would definitely bring them into Dark Dimension 4. They're going to...
I definitely value Icarus and Cersei higher than he does. They are ridiculous in DD5. So if you can work in Icarus and Cersei with like a Strange Heartless, like, you know, get as many Horseman team characters as you can in there, I think you're going to be very happy about that. They also have I think they're going to be valuable for a long time. They have Dark Dimension callouts, I believe, in the passives. They're just fantastic in there. So the only thing that I can see changing that, I also use them every day, Cosmic Crucible, War, everything. If you got a big one, you know, big Icarus and Cersei, you can bring them in, do a lot of work in arena. Mine don't quite hang at that level. I don't have that many stars on them. But that being said, unless the next big bad shows up in something, the only thing I can think of is it shows up in something no longer called Dark Dimension, and therefore their passives don't work there. If it's like the Quantum Realm and now they don't have a call out in their passives, I could see that, but I have no regrets at all of Icarus and Cersei at 16. They're amazing in Scourge, amazing in Crucible. Anywhere you use them, if you don't have the full Darkhold team, you don't have Dormammu, they still can hold it down in raids very well in Doom 3. So yeah, I definitely value them higher.
Help you out a lot there. All right, Magic, as I was saying, that's going to go in here for daily use for me. I mean, for me, it was daily use. For everybody else, I think this is a very strong team to add to Scourge. When Tower runs, you're going to like this team as well, and it's very good for Cosmic Crucible. All right, let's go ahead and get Ghost Spider up here with the rest of her team. She's all level 90. That's good. I understand. Look, I know what you're saying. All right, so chat's already pointing this out. Let me address it before my comment room goes crazy as well. We're not going to have enough characters at tier 16. Okay, I know this. I know we're not going to have enough characters at tier 16 to go into Dark Dimension 5. You're going to have to, if that's something you want to do, you're going to have to make some mistakes. You're going to have to take some of these level 90 characters and throw them up here. Or wait. Waiting is also an option. You can wait until more characters come out. That's not the point of this video. That's not the point of this video at all, is getting you into Dark Dimension 5. That's a conversation for another day. Okay? Another day. All right, T'Challa. Man, people like T'Challa.
I really like T'Challa.
You know, I'm throwing so many characters down here that I don't understand. You know, like, you know, Shatterstar and Longshot. I know I know people
I'm
use
glad my
T'Challa and
T'Challa
Scourge.
is
I know people have taken T'Challa,
at
you know,
G16.
are doing amazing things with him. So I'm going to put him at tier 15 because I don't want to get the hatred of the entire Marvel Strike Force community on my back. Just about half of them. I'll take 50% of the hate from the Marvel Strike Force community, but I'm going to put T'Challa up here. I'm going to recognize, you know, Game is going to recognize Game. I understand that he's good. Cool. All right, are we cool?
Excellent.
We're cool. I'm glad we're cool. All right, we're going to get Young Avengers up here all together. Definitely amazing Scourge team. Very good choices there. Dark Hunters, total dog shit. All right, here we go. It's the Age of the Horsemen.
Again,
They're all going up here. All
definitely
the
value
Horsemen
Dark
go
Hunters a
up
little
here.
more
This
than him,
is
but I
like
understand
the
his
easiest
take.
part of any tier list right now for Marvel Strike Force. Here, let's make this clear. Morgan Le Fay is the best character in the game. She goes first, right? Okay. Yeah. Make no mistake, Morgan Le Fay is OP, okay? There you go. Agatha right next. I should probably rank these. Maybe I'll spend some time after this and make sure they're like in order of importance. We could do that too. Maybe I'll even fudge around here at the end and kind of try to get these in roughly how good they are per rank. Maybe we'll play with that. You guys want to do that? All right. Madeline Pryor, man. I want Madeline Pryor to be so good.
She is a disappointment.
I want Madeline Pryor to be so good in this game. I want to use her daily, but she sucks. I can't even find a use for her in Scourge. I took her to tier 6. Full disclosure, I took her to tier 16. I don't know why.
She's a G14 character for me.
She was going to be
Just
so
to
good
make
in
her
Tower. No,
minimum viable more.
And that
And even
really
then, they
hurts
just
to
get
do
run
that,
over
but it is
by
what
SA
it is.
Kestrel.
It is what it is. All right, another Horseman team. We got Unlimited X-Men. They all go up to tier 17. Man, this is easy. See how easy they make my job? See how stupid they've made the game and how easy they've made my job? This is great, man. Tier list. I just stick all these up in tier 17, man. Just all go up here in tier 17. Just that easy. All right, there it is. You got to build them. You got no choice.
I wish my Maddie Pryor was as good as she was in Raids.
Awesome.
Enemy Maddies are brutal.
All right. Valkyrie. I'm going to stick with what I said about Thor kind of getting a bump up because he's got like that split utility on him and that's all that's bumping him up.
That's
the rest of the Hero Asgardians
me.
don't have that, so I'm going to say tier...
Get what he's saying.
I'm taking them to tier 15, like some of them.
Yeah.
And over time, you might find that you can take...
Again, mine are 75-14, but they're ready to go for Scourge if they end up being the answer or the primary answer. So, yeah, 75-14, but I'm ready to pivot on them and invest when needed.
You can do whatever you want. Like, look, just because I'm telling you these are tier 12 characters doesn't mean you have to leave all these characters at tier 12. I think we can start getting looser with tier 15. At some point, tier 15 is going to be the new tier 12. And we're going to be able to take our whole rosters to tier 15. And that'll be great. And it's up to you which order you want to do that in. But I'm saying for right now, for maximum efficiency, I would leave this stuff at tier 12. If you don't need it or if you're not interested in it, it's not going to hurt you. All right, Bionic Avengers, rest of the Bionic Avengers. Yeah, daily use, level 90. Please, people, understand that all I was trying to say with Bionic Avengers is that I don't need them. I understand a lot of the game does need them.
He feels the way about Bionic Avengers I do with X-Men.
Sitting like at, you know,
don't use them
tier
enough
12,
in Doom 3.
and might sit there for a very, very long time. Unless I need them, and then I'll raise them up, you know, whatever. I'm just saying, if you're not using them, don't build them. That's just going to be a hard, fast rule for all this stuff. All right, the Gamma team all goes up to tier 17. Why? Because it has to be. That's right. It's so easy, isn't it? All right, looking good up there with the Gamma team. And now, all right, now we have the new patch. This is the new information. We'll put these images on the thumbnail. And we've already been told Spiderweaver. Guess what, Spiderweaver? You have to be tier 17. Early reports are that Spiderweaver is good as hell. Crazy good character. So very cool that we get to build her up to tier 17. I'm actually happy about that requirement. I think it's cool. I get to take a new character and build him. Her team is going to be an amazing Cosmic Crucible team. So I would say you can level 90 them. And we might have some fun, you know, playing around with Spider-Man 2099 and see if he works with the Web Warriors. You know, who knows? But yeah, I would put both Spider-Noir and Spider-Man 2099 up here at level 90. I wouldn't take them to tier 16 though. And then Mr. Negative. Mr. Negative is going to be pretty damn great. And yeah, I'm going to put him up there as well to level 90 because him and Green Goblin, this is my new pet project over here, is Mr. Negative and Green Goblin. We're going to get them up to level 90 to use them in Cosmic Crucible. And there it is. There is the tier.
I'm very interested to see how that turns out for him with Green Goblin and Mr. Negative. I will definitely stay tuned to his channel to see how that pans out. Yeah, they're probably a 75 G14 team for me at the moment until we find out that they're useful for or really needed for anything other than war and possibly, you know, dropping in that Spider-Mania room in room 3. Yeah, we'll see. So we'll go ahead and wrap it there. I think he just continues on to kind of rearrange the orders in each category of relative importance. So that's cool. So yeah, so overall, I would give this A minus. A minus, just based on my opinion. I think he did a great job. I agree with probably 80% of this. I think maybe he values, unless you're crazy high in Cosmic Crucible and you're willing to spend the investment, Wakanda is great in there. But it's really kind of just there. I mean, they have some value, you know, like a potential tower, or I guess you could find some use in Scourge maybe. But I think he values them more than I do. I think I value A-Force and Dark Hunters a little more than he does. You know, despite the fact that they are limited use, I think I just like them. I think they're a fun team to use. Still pretty confused about the Cable pick. I found that very bizarre, especially with where he ranked up Loki based on his passive, you know, and Punisher. The fact that he just needs to show up, I just don't really understand this. But hey, if I'm missing something there, let me know. So yeah, A minus. A minus. I think MrHartgrave did a great job. I really enjoyed the video. I agree with most of this, with a couple of things standing out to me that I don't. But hey, it is what it is. Life would be boring if we all agreed on the same stuff. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much. I know this is a long one. If you stuck around to the end, I really do appreciate it. If you consider subscribing to the channel, I'd absolutely appreciate the support as we continue to grow the YouTube community. Also, down in the description below, I will have not only a link to MrHartgrave's channel, as well as a link to this video. Please, please, please go check it out in its entirety. Give my man those views. Make sure you're subscribed to his channel if you aren't already. Love MrHartgrave. Want to see him to continue to succeed. He's done great things. So can't wait to see what he does in the future for the player base. Really pushing for positive changes for the community now that he's an envoy. So that's great to see. In the description below as well will be a link to my Twitch channel. We are recording this live on Twitch, so I'd love to have you over here, as well as my Discord. We're growing both those communities. We would love to have you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. We'll see you guys in the next one. And make sure you go subscribe to MrHartgrave. I am. Why aren't you yet?